Have you ever found yourself mindlessly scrolling through social media only to realize hours have vanished? You're not alone. Millions of people around the world experience this daily. It's a phenomenon that has become so common, it's almost a rite of passage in the digital age. But why does this happen? Why do we find it so hard to put our phones down even when we know we should? Social media platforms are designed to be addictive, much like slot machines in a glittering casino. Every notification, every like, every comment is a small win, a hit of dopamine that keeps us coming back for more. It's a carefully crafted experience designed to keep us engaged and scrolling for as long as possible. Each notification, like and comment triggers a dopamine rush in our brains, keeping us hooked for just one more scroll. But at what cost? This constant stimulation can lead to anxiety, stress, and even depression. It's a vicious cycle that can be hard to break. Just as gamblers lose track of time and money, we too can find ourselves sacrificing precious hours and even our mental well-being at the altar of social media. The comparison to a casino isn't just a metaphor. The same psychological principles that keep gamblers hooked are at play in our social media feeds. This isn't a mere coincidence. The endless scroll, the intermittent rewards, the fear of missing out. These are all tactics designed to keep us engaged, and they're incredibly effective. Tech giants employ psychologists and behavioral scientists to craft platforms that exploit our innate vulnerabilities. They study our behaviors, our likes, our dislikes, and use this information to make their platforms as engaging as possible. It's a science, and it's big business. The endless feeds, the fear of missing out, and the constant need for validation create a potent cocktail that keeps us coming back for more, even when we know we should log off. It's a cycle that's hard to break, but it's important to be aware of it. This is the truth they don't want you to hear. Your attention is the most valuable commodity, and social media companies are locked in a fierce battle to capture and monetize it. They want you to stay on their platforms for as long as possible, because the longer you stay, the more ads they can show you, and the more money they make. So next time you find yourself mindlessly scrolling, remember it's not an accident, it's by design. Social media has permeated every aspect of our lives. From the moment we wake up to the time our heads hit the pillow, our smartphones are within arm's reach, serving us a steady diet of updates, news snippets, and carefully curated glimpses into the lives of others. We compare, we judge, and we often find ourselves wanting. The carefully constructed facades of perfection presented online can fuel feelings of inadequacy and anxiety. We are bombarded with advertisements disguised as genuine content, subtly influencing our purchasing decisions and shaping our desires. The line between reality and the digital realm becomes increasingly blurred, and we risk losing ourselves in the curated echo chambers of our online worlds. This constant connectivity comes at a price. Our attention spans are shrinking, our sleep is disrupted, and our ability to engage in meaningful face-to-face interactions is eroding. The human brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. This fundamental aspect of our biology has helped us survive and thrive over millennia. However, in the modern digital age, this same wiring can be exploited in ways that are not necessarily beneficial to our well-being. Social media platforms exploit this fundamental principle by creating a reward system that triggers the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and addiction. When we receive notifications, likes, or positive comments, our brains reward us with a dopamine hit, making us feel good and encouraging us to repeat the behavior. Every notification, like, and positive comment gives us a little hit of dopamine, reinforcing the behavior of checking our phones and refreshing our feeds. This creates a feedback loop where we become increasingly dependent on these digital interactions for our sense of happiness and validation. Studies have shown that the brains of excessive social media users exhibit similar patterns of activity to those of individuals struggling with gambling addiction. Both groups show heightened activity in the brain's reward pathways, which are responsible for feelings of pleasure and reinforcement. Both groups show heightened activity in the reward pathways of the brain in response to social media cues or gambling-related stimuli. This similarity suggests that the mechanisms driving social media addiction are not unlike those driving other forms of addictive behavior. This constant stimulation can lead to tolerance, meaning we need to engage with social media more frequently and for longer periods to achieve the same level of satisfaction. Over time, this can disrupt our sleep patterns, reduce our productivity, and even affect our physical health. This cycle of addiction can have detrimental effects on our mental health, contributing to anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self-worth. The more we rely on social media for our emotional needs, the more we may find ourselves feeling isolated and disconnected from real-world relationships and experiences. To break free from this cycle, it's important to take proactive steps to manage our social media use. This can include setting time limits, engaging in offline activities that bring us joy, and fostering real-world connections that provide genuine emotional support. By being mindful of how we use social media, we can reclaim control over our mental well-being and lead more balanced, fulfilling lives. Section 4. The algorithm knows curated content and manufactured emotions. Behind the seemingly endless stream of content on social media lies a powerful force, the algorithm. These algorithms are designed to keep us engaged, to keep us scrolling, and to keep us coming back for more. They are the invisible puppeteers, pulling the strings behind the scenes. These complex mathematical formulas determine what we see and don't see, shaping our perceptions of the world and influencing our emotions. They analyze our behavior, our likes, our shares, and even the time we spend on each post. Every click, every swipe, every interaction is a data point that feeds into the algorithm, making it smarter and more effective at capturing our attention. Algorithms prioritize content that is likely to keep us engaged, often serving us a steady diet of sensationalized news, emotionally charged stories, and content that aligns with our existing biases. This is not by accident, it is by design. The more engaged we are, the more ads we see, and the more revenue these platforms generate. This curated reality can create echo chambers where we are only exposed to information and opinions that reinforce our existing beliefs. In these echo chambers, dissenting voices are drowned out, and our worldview becomes increasingly narrow. We start to believe that our perspective is the only valid one, and anyone who disagrees is simply misinformed or malicious. This lack of diverse perspectives can lead to increased polarization and hinder our ability to engage in constructive dialogue with those who hold different views. The more polarized we become, the harder it is to find common ground, and the more divided our society becomes. Moreover, algorithms can be used to manipulate our emotions. They are designed to show us content that will evoke strong emotional reactions, whether it's joy, sadness, anger, or fear. This emotional manipulation keeps us hooked, making it difficult to put our phones down. By showing us content designed to evoke specific feelings such as fear, anger, or outrage, social media platforms can influence our mood, our behavior, and even our political leanings. This emotional manipulation is not just a side effect, it is a core feature of how these platforms operate. They thrive on our emotional responses, and they're constantly refining their algorithms to be more effective at eliciting them. In this way, our emotions become just another data point, another commodity to be exploited for profit. Section 5. Echo chambers and filter bubbles. Living in a world of our own making. Social media has given rise to a phenomenon known as echo chambers, where individuals are primarily exposed to information and opinions that align with their existing beliefs. Algorithms designed to show us content we are likely to engage with contribute to the creation of these echo chambers by filtering out dissenting voices and perspectives. We find ourselves living in digital bubbles, shielded from the discomfort of encountering viewpoints that challenge our own. This lack of intellectual diversity can have detrimental consequences for society. It can lead to increased polarization, making it more difficult to find common ground and engage in constructive dialogue. When we are only exposed to information that confirms our existing biases, we become more entrenched in our beliefs, even if they are based on misinformation or incomplete understandings. Breaking free from these echo chambers requires conscious effort.